konuştuktan sonra biraz teknoloji tarafına yavaş yavaş girelim. It's your turn.
Well, teşekkür ederim. Günaydın bayanlar ve baylar. Thank you. My Turkish is a bit rusty, and well, I hope she was telling only good things about me because I was standing in and I didn't know what she was talking about me. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Arun SADAGOPAN. I'm the regional director for Jedox. I'm responsible for the business of Jedox in Middle East, Africa, and Turkey. This is the first time I'm actually flying into Istanbul, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last time. And with Ilker has been supporting me from the day that I landed. He's been a great host, and Turkish people were quite welcoming as well. So I truly appreciate the hospitality that you have given me so far. So Jedox is a German headquartered company, and we have been in this business of transforming the planning and budgeting, the enterprise planning and budgeting for more than 2 decades. And we have more than 3,000 customers globally, and we have been consistently rated as a leader in by third-party analyst firms like Gartner or by Bark, especially for the planning and budgeting perspective. And it's not only that we have been consistently named as a leader, we have been rated as one of the most adaptable platform for you. So whatever the use case that you might have, you would be able to use Jedox to automate it, increase your efficiency, and report on the numbers accurately as well. So I'm going to run through a presentation. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. I'm going to talk about how Jedox and what we do, and I would touch upon the AI use cases. You know, that's the hot topic across everywhere. And I'm going to talk about how we see AI and how it actually helps our customers as well. So to begin with, I wanted to touch upon the market trends. Now, if you look at a broader perspective about what's happening around from an economic perspective or a geopolitical landscape perspective, we all can agree that the world that we live in is becoming more and more complex. And we might feel these are subjective feelings, but it's actually backed by certain facts. Now, what do you see? So what do you see in this graph? This graph is the uncertainty index. So what it basically measures is the timeline and what are the different uncertainty events that actually happened in the world. Now, the first thing is that these disruptive events are not new. As you can see, right from 1990 or even before that, that these events are something which is common, that has been happening, which was having an impact on our business. But what this chart shows, if you look carefully, the frequency in which these events are happening is becoming more and more frequent. It's becoming where you would not be able to plan, irrespective of the industry that you are working with, that you would not be able to plan more than 6 months how your business is going to be. And some customers, they are saying that they are not able to forecast more than 3 months. Now, this is having a potential impact on your business. Now, if we look into what we are all speaking, we all know that inflation, obviously, in Turkey, the reported inflation is slightly lower than the actual inflation. So there is obviously inflation which is there. And supply chain. So supply chain has always been under tremendous stress, even from the COVID time. And after that, it becomes even more worse as well. And obviously, the talent shortages. It's not about what we are basically seeing in the market is, when you have a headcount that is opened in your company, you are receiving quite a lot of CVs. A lot of applicants are applying for the job, but not necessarily the quality of the people who can actually do the job better. So it's not about finding people, it's about finding the right people is the difficulty that we are seeing. And obviously, you should actually look at Twitter to find out what tariff is going to come and how it's going to impact. So that's another thing which is there. Now, I wanted to talk about 2 surveys that actually happened. It was done by the World Economic Forum that you see on the left side. What it basically talks about is they did a survey to around 150 people in which that they were talking about how they see the world is going to be in the near future. And what you can look at it, around 30% were actually talking about that in the near short term, within 2 years' time, it's going to be quite turbulent. And the worrying part is the long term, which means that in 10 years, more than 63 people are actually saying that it's going to be even more unpredictable, even more difficult for us to do business with. Now, on the right side that you see, McKinsey conducted a survey, and they were talking to all the business leaders, asking whether is your organization, are they ready to handle these uncertainties, and they can navigate these uncertain times. And they found out that more than 50% of them are saying that their organization is not ready. They don't know what's going to come, and they don't know how they navigate it. And that's one of the worrying part. And the more and more from a long-term perspective, that 50% is actually increasing a lot and more day by day. Now, what are the challenges that we are seeing in the CFO? One of the things which I love about my job is I meet with CFOs from various industries, understanding what challenges that they go through. As you know, the challenges might be different, but one thing which is constant is there is always a challenge. And these are some of the challenges that we are actually seeing in. Obviously, the rising operational cost, and even when we were discussing in the morning, they're talking about that how the salary, wages, and everything is actually increasing, and the raw material prices are increasing, which is actually having an impact. And then more and more, the CFOs are forced to make riskier investments, and you have to bet on your business. So that kind of a decision making is one of the key challenges that they are facing. And we also want to do more with less people. We wanted to build an organization which is performant. More and more, we are seeing that the teams are becoming leaner, teams are becoming thinner, and they wanted to expect to do much more than what they were doing with a full house. So that's one of the challenges that they are facing, and it's also increasing pressure in terms of predicting their future or the forecast accurately. So now, Gartner, I'm not sure how many people went to the Gartner event, which happened in London. And Gartner did a survey, and they wanted to ask this CFOs to find out how they see their business and how they see that the things are changing around them. And around 79% of the CFOs actually believe that the employees, the finance employees particularly, needs to think the way that they see their job. They need to completely update. They cannot do the things which they did 5 years before or what they have been doing before. And it's not only the 79%, it's actually 83% of the CFOs believe even the leadership team needs to update the way that they see their job as well. Now, let's talk about AI in finance. And we know that these uncertainties and why we feel that AI is the answer in which that it will help you to navigate your organizations in these things. So the first, AI is no longer a luxury. It's no longer an option. It has now become a foundation for you. You will not be, if you're not getting into an AI, your competition is getting into. And there is a fear of missing out, which is already we are seeing it in organization. And every single organization is starting to invest in AI to see how it's going to help. There are multiple ways AI can help. It could be of increasing your efficiency, or it could be of increasing your predictions, but everyone is in the journey of getting into the AI. Now, obviously that what AI is going to do, it's not just the finance people who needs to get into the AI. You can also see that some of the operational teams are getting in. More and more you would see IoTs are used in the operation or the manufacturing side. And more those things are from an AI standpoint is getting into your across your organization. So finance cannot be left over. Now, why we feel that finance is already ready is because that finance, the CFOs, I mean, even in the short visit that they had, I met with a few people, and they were already starting to play around with AI. They are trying to see how AI can help them in their organizations. So, and the reason for that is actually 85% of the CFOs actually believe that it's going to increase the efficiency of the way that they're doing business with. And 71% are already starting to see the change by using the AI. And 54% of the people are saying that the AI has completely improved their decision-making process. Now, what AI is going to help you is moving you from being reactive to being more of proactive. So you are going to make decisions even before it's actually going to happen. So this is what you need in order for you to navigate the challenges. And PwC, along with IDC, did a survey to find out how many organizations is there getting into the AI side. And they found out that around 70%, especially in the Middle East and African territory, which I'm managing, so 70% of the CFOs are actually prioritizing digital transformation. So they are talking about moving away from Excel, automating it, including the AI journey into it. And obviously that UAE and Saudi Arabia has been in the forefront of adopting these technologies. And I'm pretty sure that Turkey is not falling behind as well. So even Turkey, that when I'm meeting with the prospects and customers, that there is things which is going in terms of the AI side. So some of the market trends, how people are using AI in their organizations. So the first thing what we are seeing is around 5 years back when I presented it, and there was a bit of a worry that I saw in all the finance leaders. They were saying that AI is going to replace my job, but not anymore, which is a good thing. That's the first thing which we covered it up. So now they are seeing that it's not going to replace my job, but it's going to make me much more efficient. And at the same time, we are seeing that they are trying a lot of different use cases. It's mainly because that their competition is doing. So they want it to be, they also want to try it out. And however, we are also seeing again the talent that you need to have the right set of people, right, knowing not just about the technology, but also about the business and how it is actually impacting using AI, how it's going to impact. So that's kind of a talent shortages that we are seeing. Now, from an architecture perspective, what we are seeing is that there are different AI bots have been used. So it could be for storytelling, or it could be for as a self-service functionalities. So all these different AI approaches has been adopted across. And the specialized AI agent is something which they are creating, and especially from a self-service standpoint. Then from a connected planning and decision-making perspective, that AI is predominantly replacing the repeated tasks that you're doing. So they are using it only to increase the efficiency and at the same time the accuracy of it. And forecasting, we see that there is still human intervention is being used. It's mainly because they are using AI to not completely move away from the forecasting. So they are using AI to assist them in terms of the forecast, not completely done through it. So how JEDOX, how we imagine and where we are investing in the AI. We are not new in terms of AI. Our first customer who went with AI was around 8 years ago. They started to get into the journey. They were one of the early adopter. I would come to their use case in the following slide. Now, how we imagine is we are investing in AI in 3 places. One is in the digital business twin, and the other one is more from a customer centricity perspective, and the third one is on the hyper automation. So what these 3 things is, so the digital business twin is basically creating a virtual replica of your business. It's going to create a replica about the business so that you can do all kinds of scenarios without impacting your actual business, to see how you're going to get impacted and how you can navigate these things. Then third is about customer centricity. This is where we are talking about more of a chatbot kind of an interface, natural language processing. Like people are now using Copilot, similar to Copilot. You would be able to talk to the application and see how it is there. And third is on the hyper automation, because now more and more, in order for you to forecast, you cannot just rely on the data that you are having in your organization. It's not about the internal drivers. It is also about external drivers, which is potentially having an impact on your business. It could be anything. It could be currency. It could be, let's say, the commodity prices, or it could be weather. So you need to integrate that into your forecasting to see how it's going to impact. So these are the 3 places where we as JEDOX has been investing. And to get into, from a digital business twin perspective, what it will address is exactly this. I'm not sure when was the last time you had that feeling. Maybe when you're creating your plan or during the execution, that you would have felt that you missed something, one of the important variables in your business. So this is exactly what digital twin would to help you to answer this. So what it will do is basically creating a replica of your business and moving away from all these manual Excel sheets that has been flying in and out of the email and completely move into an automated systems so that you get to have the holistic view of both your financial drivers and operational drivers. So one of the key challenge that we see, especially when we do the scenario plan, when a company is going to do, during the budgeting, they get to see they get to have the information from operation side, and they are able to, budget it properly. But when they are doing the scenario, most of the time, the data or the drivers that they are having is only financial drivers. They don't have the operational drivers and how it's going to impact their scenario. Now, this is exactly what the digital business twin is going to solve. So it is going to align both your financial and operational drivers. I'm talking about real time here. So we are going to integrate with your operational information, your financial information, both on a real time basis. So anytime that you do your scenario planning, you get to see the holistic view of your entire organization and how it is going to impact. And this is exactly the main reason why the digital business twin is going to be there. Then it's about customer centricity. Everyone needs are different in their organization, and one of the thing which I always say is that the most important the skills that a finance people should have is storytelling. You need to be a good storyteller so that you can actually tell to everyone who is non-finance people, you can speak to them a finance language which they can understand. So you have to be a storyteller, and because the needs of the systems are different. And in here, this is where we support in your storytelling using our natural language programming. You can actually talk to the applications because operation people typically will feel that they are actually feeding in information, whatever you're asking, because that to achieve your KPI or for you to build a report. They don't know why they are doing it. They don't know what impact that they're going to have. Now, this is where Jedox is going to solve. It's about building the storytelling. It's about telling the story behind the numbers to even to the non-finance people. And everybody have different ways of interacting with the application. Some people likes to use Excel, so we provide a functionality for them. Some people likes to use the chatbot where they need to speak to the systems. We provide an option for them. But everybody gets to see the right data and the correct data at the time that they want it. Then third is the hyper automation side, where your data resides in many places. So it's not just your ERP, it's also in your CRM, it could be your HR, it could be your operational systems, or it could be even the third-party application like Bloomberg or your central bank for you to get your FX rates. So wherever your data resides, using Jedox, you would be able to integrate them using our ETL layer so that you can bring them into your planning process. So if I can split our complete architecture based on these three where the AI is going to be, is that customer centricity is more from a user experience side, and which is where we are investing heavily. And third is the digital business twin. This is the modeling angle where you're doing the scenario planning. And third is on the hyper automation, which is integrating to different source systems. So Jedox actually supports each and everything, and AI is utilized in all the three layers within our architecture by default. You don't need to be a data scientist in order for you to do your prediction. We have made it so simple. I mean, nobody taught us how to use ChatGPT. Nobody taught us how to use Gemini. It's exactly the same technology that we are bringing into Jedox. You don't need to be trained. You don't need to know statistical programming. All you have to do is that click of a button, AI would go through your data set. It will go through your, it can run the algorithm, and it can advise you which algorithm that would be you need to use, especially for the data set that you're filling in. So it will automatically recommend you. And similar thing, like you can use your simple language to speak to the system, and it can pull in a report. It also tells you the story behind the report, and it will give you a detailed analysis completely in Jedox without a need for anything. Now, going back to some of the use cases where the customers have invested with us, and Mitsui Chemicals was one of them. early adapters of Xerox. They are the one who were like around 8 years before, which they went in. And Mitsui Chemicals is a chemical company. They produce chemicals for both for FMCG business and also for industrial business. If you have eaten cup noodles, the spices that in a sachet that comes within the cup noodles, that spicy is actually the chemical is coming brought in by Mitsui Chemicals. They have almost 90% market share, and they are using SAP as the ERP, and they wanted to predict the sales forecast for their business because they wanted to reduce the lead time because they have a lot of different SKUs, a lot of different customers that they deal with, and they wanted to ensure that they accurately forecast so that their production can actually start the production line so that the lead time gets reduced completely. And using Xerox AI, they were able to come to a prediction of around 95%. This was not day one, and this is where eventually that they reached bringing in more and more data sets into it. Now, it's not about getting 95% accuracy. It's about if you can read through the Shasha Geng was talking about controlling in Mitsui Chemicals, that they were able to achieve this because that they were able to plan at the level which was not possible before. Now, when you are using AI, we are talking about looking at huge amount of data sets. Every single data in your business is important for us to help in terms of the prediction. Then Deutsche Telekom. Now, Deutsche Telekom is again in terms of accurate forecast, they were able to achieve 98%. In this, it's not about looking at internal drivers. In here, they looked into the external drivers, like if there is an event or there is going to be an iPhone launch. Based on this, how much traffic is going to be expected, and based on which that how much sales is going to be there. And they were able to achieve getting information from the external driver. So this is one of the use case from forecasting perspective. And Henkel Freinet is an FMCG company. In here, they talk about the efficiency improvement that they were able to achieve using our AI. So they were able to do 80% reduction in their complete working hours that they were able to do. And the many things which they talk about is the completely automating and removing the labor-intensive process that they were able to achieve using with the help of Xerox AI. So again, to finish it off, that Xerox, we have been a leader. We have been consistently rated as a leader. And now we have more than actually 3,000 customers who is using globally for different use cases. And thank you so much for your time. And I'm available if you wanted to speak to me in detail about any use case. Thank you.
Maybe they have questions.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. You can.
Eğer sorusu olan varsa Türkçe'de İngilizce.
Thank you very much, Arun, for your good presentation. Before taking a break, if you have any question, please feel free to ask. İlker Bey, also Arun is ready to answer. Eğer sorularınız varsa lütfen soru cevap şeklinde de gidebiliriz. İnteraktif bulmuşuz güçlü AI'cı arkadaşları. İlker Bey ve Arun cevaplayacaktır. Lütfen sorunuz varsa sorularınızı alalım.
Şöyle sorayım, Türkçe mi sorayım? Fark etmez. Şimdi bu sunum için öncelikle teşekkür ederim. Bu tip implementasyonlarda özellikle şirketlerde çok farklı bir ERP sistemi vesaireden data çekimi olduğunda o datanın bir cleansing, alignment vesaire gibi çok ciddi bir iş yükü oluyor. Burada Jedox'un bir çözümü ayrıca oluyor mu, yoksa o şirketin hani kendi içinde çözmesi gereken bir efor mu?
We are able to extract from various ERPs. So, we say there needs to be a cleansing the data. In cleansing, can Jedox help us or not? Or sure. do they have to deal with cleansing on them?
So, Okay. Is it fine if I respond in English?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. So if you look at the hyper automation side, which I was talking about before, so that comes with an ETL layer, which is basically extracting by using connectors to different systems and transforming the data the way that you want it, the cleaning of your data, and then it gets loaded into our database. So that will answer your question of how we can, bring the information, correct information, and cleanse it and load it into
Yes,
the
but
Xerox.
before that, there has to be a pre-work to make sure what kind of alignment we need, because I assume there's a standard, fields that the program would pick up, right?
It is not just standards. If you're using our smart connector, it comes with standard to SAP, to Oracle, or Microsoft, or Salesforce, or whatever the ERP that you're using. But it's also customized according to yours, because we know that the ERP is going to be completely configured as per your requirement, not necessarily following the standard. So we can configure according to how you are customized to bring in the information, transform it the way that you want it, and then load it into Xerox. So I think if I talk about, let me give a background about Xerox, how the company was started and how it is. So first of all, the X in Xerox that you see is actually stands for Excel. So the Xerox, that is X in the last. And Xerox, how the name came in is because the founder is a big fan of Star Wars. If you have seen the movie Star Wars, all the Jedi Knights. So that's why Xerox, Jedi, and then X for Excel, so Xerox. That's how the company was started. Yeah, and it was actually launched as an open source software. And in 2002, when they developed a database, it's called as Palo. It's in multi-dimensional, which is used for analytical purpose. So, if I say multi-dimensional, what's the difference? Is difference between a table and a pivot table in Excel. So that's the difference. So it is good for doing your analysis and others. So they developed a database, and it is in-memory database, which can pull in information in a faster pace. And they wanted to send it to the public so that we can get how the use cases are. So what they did was they made Excel as a front end, and there is a connector. So whatever you do in Excel will automatically get saved into the database, and at the same time you can also pull information from that database in your Excel. So you get to have the flexibility of Excel, and at the same time in a controlled environment. That's how the company was started. And in order for an open source to be successful, they need to concentrate on two things. One is, you don't know who is downloading and what systems that they are using, because anybody is going to the internet and they can download the software. So they focused on integration. So they focused on building an ETL layer. That database can connect to any system that is there in the market. So they spent huge amount of time and investments in making that ETL layer, so which is quite strong. So that's why that we can connect, and we are quite happy to say that we can connect to almost all the systems that is there, which is in the market. It's not only that, we have customers who have used Bloomberg, who have connected to central bank for their rates, FX rates. So there are customers who have integrated with weather companies where they wanted to get the pattern of how the weather is going to impact, like Agrilient, which is one of the seed producer. They wanted to take the weather to find out how much yield that they're going to have. So that is the first thing that they did. So we are very good in bringing the data. The second thing, you don't know what is the skill set of the people who's downloading it. So you need to make sure that it is so simple so that everybody can use it. So that is why the Excel front end came in. So you can use all the formulas that you typically use in Excel. It could be VLOOKUP, NPV, IRR, all of those things which you use in Excel in Xerox itself. So that is how it became. As a company, it started. And then slowly we made it into a premium product after we built a nice one. So that is how the history is. So we can do the cleansing. We can connect to wherever the data is, and we can bring it in. And we also have the AI layer, which can actually look into the outliers of your data as well.
Thank you.
Well, it's a relief to hear that VLOOKUP will survive AI. So, what is the typical implementation time, including all the data cleansing and configuration? And you mentioned the 95% of accuracy, which is great. What's the time frame to improve the accuracy to reach its maximum? Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good question. I'm a salesperson, and I'm also a realistic salesperson because I wanted to come back to Turkey, and I want you to treat me. Yeah. Thank you. AI, that accuracy that you saw, 95%, 98%, it was not from day one. Okay, let's be very clear. No matter what systems that you're going to use, AI is not, it's not a plug and play that you plug in and everything is, it's not a crystal ball, let's say. It's not going to, based on that you ask questions and it's going to answer. But what it does is basically it starts to improve. It starts to rethink the way that you do your forecasting. It starts to give you a different perspective. So generally, when you're doing a forecast currently without a system in place, you have your own limitation. You might use Excel. You might look into, okay, last year, this is how my business has been. Typically, this is what the trend that I see. These are some of the things which you use. Whereas when you start with an AI journey, then you would start to add more data sets into the AI. So that is slowly starts to increase the accuracy. So even Mitsui, I think it started off around 50% was the accuracy that when they launched it. But then slowly they started to bring in more information. And once they started to bring in more information, then it became more and more accurate. So always think that it is a journey. And now to give you an answer like how long it will take an implementation, it purely depends on the scope of work. It is not something which is going to be, it might be 2 months or 3 months for you, and it might be 6 months for another person. It's completely because of the scope of work. So that is why come up with an agenda of having more of a journey where we are taking together, we are going to be partnering together for the same success. So we would start to see how the pattern is, and then we will start adding more data and see how it is working. Till you reach the 98, we are not going to let you go. So
Thank you.
Thank you. If we have time, I have one quick comment and one quick question.
yes, sure.
Thank you. It's pure AI. I want to thank İlker also for bringing you to here. Because what we've been hearing from in Turkey nowadays for at least 5 years, not AI. Maybe some of those are business, some of those are like segmentation of the data, some of those are the business processes. So my question is to you in Germany, let's say, like the other digital transformation or the green transformation, there is a new saying of greenwashing. Do you have something in German like AI washing? Because people are, I mean, we love the new things, but when it comes to the realization, we are not that good. So we mostly speak about it, but no, I mean, you do it, it's perfect. The question is, you have that sort of a law in Germany.
Yeah. So to answer that, I was actually speaking with Bahadur yesterday, and I was telling him that you should not do an AI project just for the sake of doing it. Okay, everybody is doing it, I want to do it. No, that's not the way that you do. You first need to understand, why do you want to have AI? What is that key challenge that you're trying to address? That should be your success criteria. You define your success criteria before you even start engaging. And you leave to the technical experts. Look, here is my problem statement, and I need that to be fixed. It could be efficiency improvement, or it could be something else completely. It could be an accuracy that you're running behind, or it could be more of a storytelling or improving your board pack. So you first need to lay down that this is my problem statement and that is what I'm going to address. Then we would recommend to you which of the 3 AI that you need to start using it and how it can support you with that.
Thank you.
No, thank you. That's it. Any more? No? Thank you so much.